So welcome to the second video where we're looking at navigation in iOS 16. So the first one we looked at the basics. We're now going to take more control through programmatic navigation using NavigationPath. So let's have a look at it. So yes, we're carrying on with NavigationStack. So this new way of navigating with iOS 16 onwards. If you haven't seen the first video, don't be lazy. Watch that as well. I'm going to link it down below so you can check that out. It was just the basics of NavigationStack and just making links between and the concept of how we're changing from views over into data. But I won't go through that. Watch the other video. You'll see what I mean. So in this one, we're going to be carrying on with this, but we're going to look at the more options for NavigationStack. Basically, the path, which is a really new, cool way. It's really clean way as well of effectively navigating through your app. And it's linked to binding to an array and everything, but it all makes sense in a second. Basically, we want to take more control and we want to see how this works so that we can be able to use this to navigate as freely as possible. So let's have a look at it together. Okay, so this is the same project as in the first video. Like I said, go and watch that first video if you want to see basically what this is about. But in simple terms, we have two arrays, an array of strings and an array of numbers. And these arrays are displayed in the lists with two sections under words and numbers. So hopefully you can follow that. It's pretty simple. But anyway, right. So what we're going to do is we're going to add navigation to this and have extra control by using NavigationPath. So let's have a look first of all at the options we have. So NavigationStack, like we showed in the first video again, NavigationStack is added just like the navigation view was before. So it's literally just in case your view within the navigation stack, okay? And that's all you got. However, when we type this, we're now going to look at the options that we have. And there's two options. We have just the route, and then we have path and route. Now, I did avoid looking at this in the first video because I just wanted to keep it simple to what was going on. But now let's have a look at this just to understand what's going on. So the route here, if you just picked route, there's nothing else that you have to do. That is the basic navigation stack. Is actually what we have set up here if I got rid of that bracket, because the route is whatever view this navigation stack is wrapped around. So you don't have to worry about that so much. However, the path, and this is where things get more interesting, is we have a binding navigation path. Now this, as it says, it creates a navigation stack with heterogeneous navigation state that you can control. I really mashed up the pronunciation of that word, but the point is that we have navigation state that you can control, and this is what we want. We want to have control because we are control freaks. So let's get rid of the route. We've already got that established around our view. Now, as this is a binding, and what's going to happen is, and this really sort of comes down to the understanding of what a navigation stack is that it is a stack. So it is an array of data, and what we want is it's an array of views, okay? And every time that we navigate through something, it adds and subtracts views to that array. And what we do when we bind this to a navigation path of our choosing, we can then get control of that array and then mess about with it however you want to. Do you want to add views, take away views? Do you want to jump back 2 views, or do you want to wipe the whole array back and just go straight to the root? Entirely up to you. But that control is there, built in, if we want it. The way we access it is by making our own array. So if we did an at state, and we'll just call this path just for simple sake. And what we're going to do is we have to tell it what data we want it to expect. So for this case, let's do a string, and it's just going to be an empty array. And let's bind it here to our path that's for our navigation stack. So we're going to do our $path. All right. Now, nothing has happened at all. But all we've done is we've started the ball rolling by adding connection between these two. Now, what we need to do is we need to now add, basically modify this array, okay, using this path. And the way that we're going to do that is, instead on this for each, I'm not going to do a text. Let's do that. What we're going to do is we're going to, instead of text, we're going to generate a button each time. And we'll do a title and an action. So in this case, the title is going to be the word. And the action is where things get interesting. So you can see that's all turned into buttons. They're all blue. I'm not going to worry about changing that back, but normally you would, wouldn't you? Change the foreground color to primary or something, or black. But what we're going to do is we're going to now add an action by saying path. It's an array, so we can do things to it. We're going to append, and we're going to append a new element, which is our word. Okay, so our word is being, just as we pass through this string array, is being displayed here with the text of a button, as we can see in the list. And then when we click on it, it's going to append that word into this array. And then we then just have to do, at this moment, nothing obviously is happening because, yeah, it's got a warning sign. It doesn't know what to do. It understands that these are navigatable, but we don't understand exactly what we've got to display. So we're not out of the woods yet. What we need to do at the bottom of our navigation stack, we still need to add a navigation destination. If I can spell destination correctly. Station. And it's going to be the for and destination. So I don't know if you remember, again, first video, look back at that, but this is looking for a hashable type. So for our case, it's string, so it's nice and simple. However, it's going to be your custom type that you have. You have to reference .self, so it knows what it's talking about. And the destination is going to be, so this would possibly be your custom view, your new next screen. But what we're going to do is we're going to actually do a word in, and then we're going to do a VStack. You'll see why in just a moment. And I'm just going to fill it with a text. And we're going to say the text is our local word. All right. Now, if I do that, it does absolutely nothing. So quick cut there. I actually put it in front of the wrong bracket. I should have put it on the navigation stack. I should have put it on the end of the list. So yeah, errors are made and we fixed it. So here we go. On the end of the list, we've got a navigation destination, and this is basically calling for a string, so data, not views. And with that destination, we're showing that each time we're going to pass in a VStack containing the word, okay, that we've just clicked on. So if we do this, yes, go, stay. Okay. Now, what we will do as well as this is we're going to, so we can see what's going on, we're going to print the path. So in our bit here, if we use this, you'll notice we've got an array of yes. We've clicked on yes, back, go. Can you see? So it's cleared. That array is now empty and just containing that one word. So we've got stay. Every time we go back, we're clearing the array. But what we can do is we can play with the array even more. So if we want to do this, so let's do a button that's going to be underneath that, and we're going to have let's do that again because I want the autocomplete, and we're going to do a string just saying next. And for our action, we're now going to, again, call that path. We're going to append, and we're going to say our words array. But let's just do a random element, okay? So now when we click this, let's get rid of, let's just clear this away. Oh, sorry, it's calling it because it's an optional. We need to false unwrap that. Yep, Xcode is happy with us now. And then we can click on one of these. Now we have, so an array with just yes on it. I press next. It says stay, next, stay. Oh, what I didn't do, which is a bit silly. Let's go back. Let's print this as well, so that we can see what's going on. And have a look at this array as we click through these things. So we've got yes. Oh, it's added no, go, yes, maybe. No. Can we see how we're adding views now? Now, what this leads to, which is really quite great, is that we could now, in our VStack, let's make a new button, and it's going to have a title and an action, and our title is going to be clear. Our action is going to be path. We don't need to print anything. So let's try this again. Next, yes, so stays added, goes added, maybe's added, go, maybe, stay. We're going for all sorts of just go and yet stay all the time. There's more words in there. Yeah, so now we've got this array of views, tons of them. And if we wanted to go all the way back, we have to go all the way back. It's just too much. So what we could do is just clear. It empties the path array. All those views go bye-bye, and we're back at our root, which is the view that our navigation stack has been wrapped around. How's that? Does that make sense? And can you see the way that you could use that in your own app to produce great results in just that you can customize, you can navigate between things. You want to skip 2 views? That's great. Do you want to just randomize the views for whatever reason? Well, you can do. So all of this is available because of this new navigation path. Now, the question that we have and the problem that we're going to have is that at the moment, this navigation destination, as was seen in the previous video, is set up for string types. This creates a little bit of a problem because now if we want to go on these numbers, well, these are ints. We can't do anything with these. It doesn't show us anything. It doesn't display what we need. So we're frozen now on what we can do. So to do this differently and to make sure that we can get all of the custom types that we want, I won't demonstrate it because it's just going to be the same thing over again. Hopefully you can follow along with it. Is with navigation path, instead of making this exclusive for string, we can just make it a navigation path. Now, if you look at the definition here, there's a key little phrase, which is basically what makes this so amazing, is a type erased list of data representing the content of a navigation stack. This type erased is the key part that you want to focus on, because if we have this now, it doesn't matter what we do. We can still access the array through path, and that's what it's going to create. However, it's breaking it down past its type. It's not a string and it's not an int. It accepts both because these are broken down and they're serialized, and it just makes the entire thing more usable, because obviously it's very unlikely that we're ever going to have just strings or ints that are available. Great that you can have that functionality, but it's just not very practical. So in those cases, you're going to want to use navigation path. So play around, have a little look at what those views are. Just as a reminder, obviously in this point, you're not going to be just creating a view like this here. You're probably going to be putting your own view in here. Now, there is one use case which can be a little bit tricky, and that's if you have fully constructed screens. I ran into this fairly recently. I was trying to put together an app, and we basically had fully constructed screens. We had data being passed between them, and this was very difficult to get around. So how can we navigate between complete views in a little bit of a workaround way, but giving this functionality that we want and the way that we can be able to have it adapt and play around with it? Well, we're going to look at that in video number 3. So stay tuned for that. But in the meantime, please please subscribe, check out our other content, and comment below if this was useful, how you're getting on with the new navigation system, and comment below as well of anything that you feel would be useful to explore more in future videos that hopefully will help either explain this subject or other subjects that you'd find useful. So thank you for watching. I really hope that all made sense. Let me know below, and thank you again. You take care and stay safe.